The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630, the sports capital.
This is Orioles Preview. Orioles play Game 3 of their 4-game series against the Yankees tonight, 6:35 first pitch. Coverage here on ESPN 630 gets underway at 6 o'clock. They got Corbin Burnes on the mound. He is their ace. He's 3-0 on the year with a 2.55 ERA, and in the 6 games that he has started, the team is 5-1. They're rolling along, and they are now in first place, a game up on the Yankees. Birds now 19-10 with last night's 4-2 win. Yankees 19-12, and the Orioles have guaranteed themselves by winning the first game of not being swept in 101 consecutive regular season series. One time they've been swept in the last couple of years, unfortunately, was in the playoffs last year by the Texas Rangers, but so far so good in 2024. And last night, really, the pitching was phenomenal. That they got exactly what they needed. They lost 2 out of 3 in the weekend series to Oakland, and really had to deplete the pitching staff. So they needed what they got from Dean Kramer, which was 7 innings. He gave up 4 hits, 2 runs, got his second win of the year. And then the bullpen did their thing. Keegan Aiken gave them an inning, and then, or actually less than an inning, 2/3 of an inning. But then Jacob Webb came in to literally save the day. He was able to finish out the 8th inning and then pitch the 9th, and seemed like he was on his way to an immaculate inning. He struck out the first 2 batters on 3 pitches apiece. He got an 0-2 count on the last batter, and then threw a ball and gave up a ground ball, which was the final out. It's about as good as you can do to close out a game, and he was very pumped up when he appeared on the post-game show with Kevin Brown and Jim Palmer last night.
So you warm up 3 times yesterday. You pitch Sunday, and you just go ahead and strike out Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo. How do you look so fresh?
I just try to keep my body in shape the whole year, you know. Like, you got to just...
You got to hydrate.
You got to hydrate. You got to do all the stuff to get prepared every day.
Well, have you ever thrown a better changeup than you did to get Judge out in the well, you've thrown a lot of great changes, but ever better than that pitch? Location, who it was there and Judge?
Yeah, I'm just trying to execute pitches every day. That's all I'm really trying to do.
Jacob, I know you've said your changeup is such a field pitch. How does it feel right now?
It feels pretty good, man. I'm trusting in it, and just trying to get outs.
Well, it's not like the last time. It's not the first time you ever closed games. But what's it like to know, all you need to do is, in this case, get 4 outs and be able to do it and command the stuff like you were able tonight?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, like I said, I'm trying to go out there, throw strikes, and get hitters out, man. That's it.
You seem like you're still a little juiced up.
Oh, yeah, I'm a little juiced up right now.
What's the feeling like?
It's an adrenaline rush, that's for sure.
Well, all right, go get the adrenaline off. We take a long shower, relax, enjoy this one. Your first big league save of the year. Yeah. Congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you, guys.
Outstanding.
Appreciate it.
I'd like to get a pat on the back from Jim Palmer if I was a young pitcher, but he's been lights out this year. 13.1 innings. He has allowed only 3 earned runs. His ERA 2.03, and as you heard, gets his first Major League save this year. And they need help. They need help in the bullpen because Craig Kimbrell is dealing with upper back tightness now. He could possibly pitch tonight. He had to sit out a couple of days. He blew a save, blew back-to-back saves, as a matter of fact, in the Oakland series. And so they're hoping to have him back on the field tonight, and if needed, when they play the Yankees. In fact, if he had been healthy, Brandon Hyde said he would have gone to him last night, but goodness gracious, the bullpen and the starting pitching did the job for him.
That's what you call gutsy out of the pen. That's 2 guys that would pitch the 8th and 9th inning that were totally fatigued and just totally stepped up, bulldog mentality. Well, I had Webby up 3 times yesterday, and Ake went 30-plus 2 innings a couple days ago, and they both sucked it up before the game, knowing how short we were in the bullpen, and staying away from a lot of people tonight, and just outstanding. Just shows you the kind of competitors both those guys are.
Kimbrell threw extensively before the game. Were you going to keep away from him another night?
Yeah, he would have pitched there if I wouldn't have. But yeah, I'm hoping he's available tomorrow.
How big was it for Dean to go 7?
That was I mean, that was unbelievable because, like I said, we had very few guys that I was going to pitch tonight. And for him to battle, compete, mix, he's just really turning into a really good starting pitcher. Since the second half of last year for me, just knows how to pitch now, 4 pitches for strikes, has confidence in his sinker, gets the cutter in the right places, can dunk curveballs in, and the split finger is getting better and better. So really impressed with how Dean's throwing the ball.
Yeah, and he's got great hair, if you don't know. Great hair, and really has come on as a pitcher. He's now 2-2 on the year. His ERA is a little up there. He's been hit hard a couple of times, but it's 4.19, 2-2 on the year. You take what he's given you, and if he can go as deep as he does, that's such a plus, especially with a bullpen that got taxed in that Oakland series. This is Kramer last night on his performance and how he's developed over the last year.
Just learning to navigate through lineups more than once, adjusting my stuff as well, and I think those are the 2 biggest.
I know you always want to get deep into a game, but knowing the bullpen was short tonight, does it mean a little more when you can give the club 7 innings like that?
I mean, it's the goal every time. Quality starts are the goal. Try to eat as many innings as possible and try to give those guys a break, especially at the beginning of the season. Every time any of us step out there, we're trying to eat as many innings as possible.
I'm impressed with you with Jacob Webb against the heart of the order there in the 9th.
Very. I mean, he's been lights out for us in the past, and he showed it again today.
Even though it's only 30 games in the season, how important are these kinds of games?
I mean, every game's important. You can't take these games off because they start piling up, and winning as many early gives you leeway to take a breather, or rest your starters or whatever through the end of the year. So every series is important.
Yeah, you get your pitching staff going deep. You save your bullpen, and with Kimbrel hurting right now, and plus, Bautista, who was their #1 closer last year, an All-Star, he's not going to be available all year long. So that's going to be, tough to work around. They got Danny Collenbaum who can come off and give you some innings of relief and maybe even some closer. Maybe they found one in Jacob Webb, but you can't count on all that. Here's more from Brandon Hyde on what he's seen, particularly in the development of Kramer.
He's loves taking the ball, and he's just getting better. You've seen a guy develop the last year plus at the big league level, and all those hard times he had the first couple of years just shows you his maturity, how he dealt with a lot of adversity. Got his brains beat in sometimes, and then turned the corner, and credit to him and everybody around him. He's I like watching him pitch. It's a true pitcher.
Yeah. Now this is what's ahead here. They got 2 games left with the Yankees. That's tonight, and then a 1:00 game tomorrow afternoon. Then they go to Cincinnati for the weekend. They get Monday off, and the Nats come to Camden Yards for 2 games next Tuesday and Wednesday. And the Nats, they're a game under 500, but they're not what they were last year. They're a better team, so that could be tough. And then they have Arizona coming in for 3 games. Arizona will be at Camden Yards next weekend, and the Diamondbacks on the year are now 13-18, so they're under 500. Cincinnati just over 500. So they're not going to be playing like Miami, who's the worst team in the league. Colorado as well, both of them with only 7 wins on the year. Miami 7-24. But they're not going to be playing the big boys, so they can continue to build up on that record. Coming up, this was good from yesterday. Whether you like Chris Russo's style or not, he's been doing it for a long time, knows his baseball, and he talked to the general manager, the reigning executive of the year, Mike Elias, about how this team has done and what's ahead. Stay with us. It's the Andy Pollin Show with Orioles Preview on ESPN 630.
The Andy Pollin Show on ESPN 630, the sports capital.
Tony's coming up at 11 o'clock. This is Orioles Preview. Orioles playing Game 3 of their series against the Yankees tonight. Coverage here begins at 6 o'clock. They close it out with a 1 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon, and they're looking pretty good, winning both games against the Yankees so far. They've got a one-game lead in the American League East on the Yankees. The Birds now 19-10, while the Yankees dropped to 19-12 with a loss last night. And this was Brandon Hyde before the game last night on why things have gone so well so far this year for the Birds.
We're athletic, and I think that's why for me, we're tough to pitch against, tough to play against, because we run the bases extremely well. Run the bases hard, run the bases correct, run the bases with some speed. But we also we have a lot of guys in the lineup that can go deep, and it's shown this year with the power that we've shown. We're not trying to hit homers, but our guys are continuing to get better and looking to drive the baseball. So, fortunately on nights like we're a low-scoring game, for me, we can try to manufacture and do some things because we have some team speed.
And they have stars that are playing like stars. You've got probably an MVP candidate in Adley Rutschman, who's hitting .322. I don't know if he'll be able to keep up that average, but 4 home runs and 18 runs batted in. He's playing every game, whether he's catching or DHing. He's in the conversation. You could even put Gunnar Henderson, the American League Rookie of the Year from last year, in the conversation as well. He's hitting .291. He's got 10 home runs and 24 runs batted in, and in many ways is becoming the heart and soul of the team. And Brandon Hyde actually had to laugh a little bit about a question that he got about him yesterday.
You had been told at the start of the season that Gunnar would have 10 home runs by the end of April. What would your reaction have been to that?
That would have been pleasantly. I don't know about surprised, but I would have said nice. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a really good player, and he's had a heck of a start to the season.
Brandon, are there few players who can impact a game in as many ways as Gunnar Henderson right now?
Just the whole package. I mean, the defense he's playing too, what he's doing on the bases. He's gone left on left, base hits the other way. He's just, there's not many. That's why he's getting talked about. I turn on TV, I'm seeing a lot of Gunnar Henderson nationally, which is awesome. And credit to him, and he deserves it. So, he's so down to earth too, and he's so modest, but he's also super confident, and he believes. I don't think this is surprising him. I think he believes this is how he should be playing.
Today's the last day of April. How would you just evaluate the team overall through the first month of the season?
Yeah, I think we're off to a good start. I think we have room to grow. I think there's areas where we can improve. I've been, in every single area. I know our offensive numbers are good, and I think that's going to continue, and I think that we have room to grow on the mound still. I think we made some mistakes defensively that we're not going to over the course of the summer. But, I'm happy with the start we've had and just want to continue to get better over the course of the year.
Yeah, he's talking like a winner. He wasn't giving you, isn't it great? We lost 110 games 2 years ago, and now look at it. Yeah, they're a good team now. They're a contending team, and they're playing well. Mike Elias, who won the Executive of the Year award last year in Major League Baseball, appearing on the show High Heat, hosted by Chris Russo. Among the questions, Jackson Holliday, who Elias brought up and said, we waited to bring him up, not taking him with us out of spring training, because once we bring him up, we want him to stay here. Well, that didn't work out. He was up for 10 games. He hit .059, 34 at-bats, 18 strikeouts. He had only 2 hits and had to send him back down. This is Elias talking to Russo about that.
I'm very confident how he's going to handle it, and my hope is that this was a productive experience for him to get a glimpse of the major leagues after not really experiencing any failure in the minors or as an amateur. I mean, this might be the first time in his baseball life that he went through a cold stretch like this, and it happened at the major league level at age 20, at a time when American high school kids are not getting to the majors that quickly very often. So at the big picture, Jackson is doing exceptionally well. He was drafted less than 2 years ago out of high school. This is a very exciting talent, not just for the Orioles, but for the sport. We had a tough call on whether or not he was fully ready for the Major League Challenge, and obviously kind of went back and forth on that a little bit. which isn't ideal, but it was a tough decision and one that there wasn't a lot of a playbook for because he's such a unique case. And, for now, he's going back to AAA to make some adjustments based on the feedback that he and we got with him at the major league level. But long term, this is an enormous part of our future. And we also think he's going to be an enormous part of the 2024 Orioles.
Was he trying too hard? What was the problem with the 33 at-bats?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to jump into diagnostics here. He's a great player, and he was doing everything asked of him, and that included storming through the minor leagues. And we're the ones that tell him where and when to go play. And we told him to come up to the major league level, and he got to see it. Played really good defense at second base despite a position change that we've asked him to do too. So we're asking a lot of this kid right now, and he's really ahead of the curve. And for now, he's got some work to put in at AAA, but we're really hopeful to get him back here soon. And, there's a place for him on this team, and we're counting on him.
Grayson Rodriguez, you did that last year with him, and it worked, so I don't see why this wouldn't work either. Burns has been wonderful. We all knew he had, get him in a team that could score some runs. He'd really adjust properly. He's a big pitcher. You got an ace top of the rotation. Give me some thoughts with him, what you've seen so far. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's been what the doctor ordered. I mean, we made a major trade for him over the winter and gave up a lot. And, we wanted his talent and his innings and the stability that he would provide to the rotation, but also the impact that he provides as a #1 starter. And, he has been extremely workmanlike this season. It's been nothing but really high quality starts so far. I think we're 5-1 in the games that he's started. Could easily be 6-0. And, you look around the league right now, and there's an argument to be made that he's the top starting pitcher right now in terms of results and also in talent on a going forward basis the rest of the season. So we're just thrilled to have Corbin. I think it's enormous. I'm glad that our rotation's also getting some reinforcements here. We're expecting John Means and Kyle Bradish back very soon. So if we can keep all these guys on the field healthy together, I really like the way our rotation looks for the rest of the season.
100%. Those two are not too far away. Listen, you got new ownership, so I think it's a fair question. You got a lot of young players, and you've seen other teams do it. Obviously, Kansas City with Bobby Witt. Is there any, is there any feeling that maybe this may not be a bad time to at least discuss with the players' agency, whoever that might be, about a long-term commitment to the franchise? Have you thought about that? I'm sure you've thought about it. Are you closer to making that decision with any of one of your 5 or 6 guys that you could lock up long-term, and Oriole fans would like that? Let me hear.
Yeah, Chris, my answer to this question is about as entertaining and informative as that brick wall behind me. But I don't like to get out talking about this topic. This isn't something that I can just point and shoot and do all by myself. It's a back and forth with agents and players, and it's complicated and it's difficult. And it's important to me that people that I do business with know that I'm not going to be putting stuff out in the public space about our efforts or lack of efforts on this front. So obviously it's something you look at our team right now, we've got a wonderful group of young players. Anybody who likes the Orioles and likes these players would look and go, boy, I wish we could have some of these guys a little bit longer than what the current status is. And, these are things that we work on behind the scenes and take a look at. And, certainly the energy provided by this ownership change and this new group that is very robust and very local, I think will give us all the resources possible towards exploring those things. But we're going to do the best that we can.
Well, that's a perfect answer. The young Randall Burns is going to be one you're going to have to answer a little quicker, but we all know that will be tricky. We keep an eye on that. All right, how about the Orioles? The bullseye on their back. The idea that we all saw them last year. You had that wonderful year, won 101 games. Maybe it got a little stale. Texas was hot. Who knows? We'll throw that one away. What do you think the team learned from that as far as that they can apply to this 2024 season? The great year and then the bad disappointment with Texas with the sweep. Not that it was a bad disappointment, but the flat ending. How about that?
I hope it was a confidence booster, first and foremost, to have the regular season that we did, and then the punch in the mouth in the playoffs I felt like kept the group hungry, and the group came into spring training really focused and really serious, and they seem really happy to be back together. And, it hasn't been a perfect April, but by and large, we've gotten off to a good start this season. So I think all indications are this team has picked up where it left off, despite the rough playoff exit versus the Rangers. But we do have a much more of a target on our back this season. I don't think it's done anything but keep our guys sharp, and you welcome that stuff. And this is we're in the American League East. We're one of the smaller markets, and definitely in our division. And this team has had that mentality since its inception. And I think we're getting better and better just as this core group gains in age and experience, and those playoff experiences are part of that.
Do you take anything out of this? A baseball question. Did you take anything out of the idea that the 3 teams that won 100 games last year and won the division lost in the first round of the playoffs? Braves, Dodgers, and you guys.
I don't personally. I don't have a big opinion on that layoff before the playoffs. And, we want to win the division, and it's really important to win the division. And I think it would, we play 162 games. That's a lot. And you pour a lot into that. And it would be nice to not have it be real random once it gets to the playoffs. And I know that this is always an ongoing conversation, but I can tell you with this current format, we're hell bent on doing whatever we can to win the division. So that probably says all I need to say from my chair.
All right, so there's 5 months left, a lot of time to go. But right now, the Orioles are in first place. If the season ended today, which it won't, but if it ended today, they would win the division and, of course, be in the playoffs. But they got Game 3 of their series against the Yankees tonight. Corbin Burns on the mound. Our coverage here starts at 6 o'clock for the 6:35 first pitch. They close out the series tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock before they go on the road to play Cincinnati. That wraps up Orioles Preview. That wraps it up for me. Tony is coming up next, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.